Hello, hello, hello. Let's take a deep breath together. Because I'm kind of nervous. This is going to be my first pilot episode of my YouTube channel / podcast. Loosely described as podcast. I would like to begin a new chapter. Let's call it that. I'd like to begin the chapter in which I start sharing my story and things that I've learned. And maybe teach you some stuff along the way. We'll just see how this goes. I have a lot of things that I'd like to get started this year and next year. And I thought it would be really neat if I started documenting my process through videos more. Before I get into any of the stuff that I'd like to do in the future, why don't I kind of explain where I've been? For starters, my name is Katie Lazo. I am a full-time storyboard artist, and I also have worked on illustrations and character design. Mostly work in TV animation. However, I've done stuff for editorial as well, and it's been really fun. I could talk about my career path another time, because I think it'd be kind of nice to just have a chill little intro sesh. I have a couple questions that I thought would be interesting, like stuff that I'd like to know about artists that I follow, so maybe you'll find these interesting as well, and if there's anything that you are curious about that I did not answer, you can feel free to leave me a comment, and I will probably talk about it in another video. So, I am from Chino, California. It's about, I would say, in the Southern California, San Bernardino area, if you're not familiar. West Coast of the United States. And for college, I moved to Pasadena, and I've been kind of back and forth around LA, and I kind of don't plan on moving anytime soon, especially since I'm building my career here. And most of the animation industry is here anyways, so I thought I'd talk about some of my biggest influences, and I would also like to eventually put together a updated inspiration chart and stuff that I've been kind of into that's been really influencing my work. I think the most evident things are people like Shane Glines, who's a character designer. Oh, Masaki Yuasa is hugely inspiring to me. I love sketching and drawing and coming up with interesting stories that have references to dreams and surrealism, and that's something that I'd really like to explore further in my upcoming webcomics. I'm working on 2 different stories. They're both romance and drama. One's a little bit more lighthearted than the other. And the first one I'm working on, I'm gonna be doing a background test right now to see if this pipeline works for me. I want to experiment with dream sequences more, and I love his process. The way he storyboards and creates character designs and ideas. I have 2 of his sketchbook. I keep one pretty much open by my desk all the time. Oh, Robert Valley is huge to me. Robert Valley is huge. I first found his work when I was in high school, and he had done some character designs for Titmouse, for Motor City, and then I kind of fell down another rabbit hole when I got older, like learning about his process and his work. I think it's really important for people to get curious about where their influences, like life is about, and where their influences come from as well. All right, so let's talk about favorite movies. I think that the movies that influence me the most are Kiki's Delivery Service, Perfect Blue, Silence of the Lambs, and newly added this year, Mind Game. I don't know why I hadn't seen it until this year, but I decided that I was gonna watch every single thing that Yuasa had ever worked on, so that was clearly like something that needed to be checked off my bucket list for sure. It's really awesome, and I'd highly recommend it. Again, for those dream sequences, like the intercourse scene is like so wild and interesting, and I've never seen anything done like that before, and I appreciate some good symbolism if someone can get creative with the way that they're explaining things. I always think that's a plus. So yeah, I have this question on here that I think I'm really passionate about, and I'm unfortunately still kind of nervous recording this, but maybe I'll circle back another time and explain why I think art is so important. And to me, I always think of art as this communication tool that we have as humans. At the end of the day, it's just a language, and it has many different interpretations. Also, it's got rules, and it's also got places where you can change the rules and all that jazz. Ultimately, art can be an escape, but it also can be an expression too. I feel like this is maybe oversimplifying or maybe overgeneralizing. Either way, there's just something in my brain that is able to communicate through art in the most efficient way to me that satisfies me and my mentality. I don't know, and it's also fun and cool. So the purpose and the goals of my work are, like I said before, to communicate with people, but what I want to communicate with people, I feel like is it should be more of my focus on my day-to-day. I want to create stories that are inspiring to people in multiple ways. I want people to realize that they also have the ability to be creative and brave in any way that they feel led to. Whether that's art or not, doesn't matter. I think if I could reach people who are like-minded like myself, and also maybe even some people who are younger versions of myself. Like when I was a teenager, Steven Universe was huge to me, and I don't know where it would be without stories that really led me and inspired me and kind of revealed things about life that I hadn't understood yet. So because I've gotten so much like out of other people's work, I hope that I can return the favor and do the same for the next generation. as I've gotten older and I've gotten more industry experience, I feel like I'm kind of in a spot where I finally feel confident in my voice, and like I'm starting to figure out what kind of stories I want to tell, and not just like what do I want to do, but like actually freaking going out and doing it, dude. So kind of another incentive to me to start this YouTube channel is to hold myself accountable, because I know that people are watching. And I've announced it on like several Discords, and I've told my friends, and I've showed them my character designs. So, you know, especially now that my current gig is over at Warner Brothers, I think I'll start having a lot more time to do this kind of stuff. So I'm really excited, and I'm sort of nervous, but I think that it's time for me to shake things up a bit and do something that I've never done before. And I've always wanted to make comics. I have made comics before in my life when I was a kid, and I think it's just time. It's just time for me to just go out and do it. Taking a lot of classes, listen to a lot of podcasts, but nothing will teach you more than doing the real thing. You know? So yeah. I've recorded videos before many times. I've even tried to live stream. In 2019, I tried to do Twitch and Patreon and all that jazz, but it never really worked out. And I think maybe it was just because I had like a lot of crap going on in my life and I didn't know what I wanted to do. Yeah, and I was really struggling too to find my place in the industry. It was really hard for a long time out of college, like not feeling like I was gonna make it and feeling like I had made a mistake by trying to pursue art, because it was like all I had, you know. But there was something in the back of my head that was like, I can't do anything else. I need to do this. So inevitably, it felt like it was just bound to happen at some point. So I just kept that feeling and just followed it, man. Let me get to another question I have down here. Has my style changed over time? This is a video I would love to make extensive content about, because I think style is kind of like a overrated thing, but at the same time, it's so on the surface of how everyone's art looks that I don't blame anyone for worrying about that type of thing, and I've definitely worried about it myself, you know. But anyways, the answer to has my style changed over time? Yes, it has, very much, very very much. I think it all depends on like what my current mindset or goal is directed upon, and not only that, but also like my environment, like my friends and the places I work, the kind of work I do, and also what I'm like studying or being influenced on really changes things. It's also interesting because since I've worked at a few animation studios, every time I've noticed that every time I jump onto a new gig or a new studio, my style changes like with it and like for it. And so right now, because I was a revisionist at Warner Brothers, my style was like super technical feeling, and like felt like, I don't know. I would say I'm like almost the most happiest with my style at the moment, but I think it's less about style and it's more about like my technical abilities that I'm happy with at the moment. I don't know. I think I also have multiple styles too. Like I can bust different type of stuff out, like depending on the project and like the time frame and all that stuff. And I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing right now is like testing out what would work for a Webtoon pipeline because I know that it's all about strict deadlines and turning stuff in on time on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis, whatever you decide to choose. So yeah, I think all that kind of stuff will influence style. And I don't think it's something to get too super caught up over if you're like worried about it. I say just do whatever feels right and take a bunch of stuff from your heroes, like literally steal it, trace over it, and learn from it. Obviously, don't like completely trace and do unoriginal shit. I'm talking about like studying it and understanding like what your artistic heroes were trying to do and then taking all those like little bits that you learned and making something new out of that. You know, I feel like there's probably days where my style is so obvious where the influence comes from, but when I'm like able to kind of take a step back and like figure out like what I'm trying to do on my own, it comes out well. Like I'm, for example, really happy with this VTuber I've made, and this took me like a few iterations to get right. And yeah, I don't know. Style's overrated, man. Just draw what you like. Okay, my next question I have for myself is, do I have a network of other artists? The answer is, drumroll, yes, of course, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. It is super needed, I think, if you want to be an artist, to build a family of like-minded artists around you. And I don't, networking kind of has like this negative connotation to it, and I personally believe that networking doesn't have to be superficial. I think it's about mindset. So if you think that everyone around you is out out to take advantage of you and just use you, of course you're gonna feel like what's the word? Like you're gonna feel paranoid. I was gonna say superstitious, but I think the word I was looking for truly was paranoid. I'm sure there are some people who probably don't care about others, who lack empathy. I get that. I get that. I think if you surround yourself with a trusted group of friends who do like your work, but who are also not afraid to say criticisms, or friends who are willing to help you out and you help them out as well, and it's equal. That's, to me, is like a healthy network of art friends. And personally, I feel like most of my close art friends aren't even in the animation industry. They do other types of art. They like make short films. They do editorial illustration and graphic design. They work at like different types of companies, like anywhere from like startups to like big corporations. So I don't know. I think that's also like something to consider if you're having a hard time fitting in and like figuring out like who your friends are. I think also because we have the internet, it's super easy to get involved in like Discord communities and like fandoms on Twitter, and reach out like via DMs and just be like a nice person and be friendly, but have boundaries, and don't expect too much from complete strangers, you know what I mean? I think when I was younger, I definitely had a tendency to overestimate my levels of friendship with people online, and that's okay because, you know, it was just something that I had to learn, but it's good to keep that in mind that no one really owes you any like extra time, but you know, you kind of like get what you put out. So if you put out like good vibes and like good friendship qualities, that I think you're probably gonna get it back in return, you know? So just be a cool person, be nice, say hi, all that jazz. Next question is the ideal gig / work environment. I think the ideal gig is one where you have enough creative freedom and input into the project where you feel like your ideas are useful, an environment where you feel like your ideas are safe to be shared. Like, you know, I think that's also like partly a confident thing. I realized I haven't been drawing. Lol. It's also like a confidence thing. But you know, it's the environment should be open to ideas, and it's you know, you have to like brace yourself for if they don't use your idea, if you know, like I'm speaking mostly to people who are like kind of younger and don't know, haven't like figured out these answers. But also, I don't know, I'm open to hearing if you have the same experience that I do, but you have like a different philosophy. That'd be super interesting and amazing to learn from, because I think it's always nice to hear from different types of people. But that's just my personal ideal situation. Also, any place that any place where I feel like it's fun to collaborate in general is just a great time, because one of the other reasons I got into this industry, this animation industry specifically, was because of the collaborative nature of storyboarding and animation. You know, it's not just your idea, it's going through so many different hands, and oftentimes the kinds of ideas that or the kinds of projects, the kinds of outcomes that have been through several different filters come out the best, because you take away all of the like mistakes, and then you add like a bunch of different really cool ideas that you had never thought before. And yeah, it becomes like super unique and fun thing to watch, because there's no way that you could have made up, you know, these ideas for animation like completely on your own. If you're working with a studio, obviously there's indie animators. Shout outs to them. But even they are inspired by other people, you know what I mean? So, this is a community effort. Don't forget it. The next question is ultimate career goals. Well, you know, I'm living one of them right now, so that's pretty freaking cool. Getting to be a storyboard artist is one of my biggest career goals. So, it's just so surreal when I think about it. But beyond that, my other goals that I had in mind alongside this is I'd like to direct. I'd like to be an episodic director for TV animation. I also want to put out some webtoons, which is why I'm trying to hype myself up on this project. I'm really excited. And what else? I'd like to build a community of people who are interested in growing and learning and supporting each other. I think that would be neat. I also would like to do mentorships in the future. I don't know about like one-on-one, but definitely like portfolio reviews, and there's some stuff in the making going on right now behind the scenes. I might be doing some stuff soon. Of course, if anyone on YouTube is interested in doing that, I would really love to help you out. Whether it's, you know, with your own portfolio or like getting advice about how to receive a portfolio review properly. Because there's a right and a wrong way. Hint has to do with saying thank you and being gracious with someone's time. But I can go into more depth on that another time. Yeah, mentorship would be super cool. I would also love to go back to my school one day, art center, and do like a little talk or maybe even teach a class. I don't know. I used to be super against the idea of teaching, but I think once you get older, maybe things change. Because for me, they certainly are, and I'm opening myself up to that now. Reconsidering the whole teaching thing. Let's see, her dress goes here. Cool. My last question I have here is, what advice would I give to my younger self? I'm just kind of thinking off the cuff here. I think I would tell my younger self to just like enjoy life as much as possible. Soak in all the moments. Because I spent a lot of like time feeling miserable about like where it was and like not having friends or the career that I had wanted at that moment. But I think things would have been a lot better if I would have chilled out, gone to therapy so I could have less social anxiety, and take my time. At the same time, I very much recognize that I've achieved what I have because I did put in like extra time and sacrifice and been a total nerd about animation, which I get it. Probably a little alienating, but you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way, okay? I wouldn't have it any other way. I think figuring out your life just takes time. So I also don't regret, you know, what I've been through, and it's made me who I am today, so I can't hate it too much. But I definitely could have had more peace if I would have just relaxed and focused on trying to love myself, you know? So anyways, I think I should wrap this video up, and yeah, so this has been a super chill time, and in my next video I want to kind of debrief on my experience at Warner Brothers and Harley Quinn, just as like a time capsule for myself and like a check-in. I may or may not be drawing the same drawing. I don't know. I think I will. I think I will. I think I will. So I hope you enjoy. I'll also put a second image on the screen if that gets too boring to look at me still work on this drawing. Either way, thanks so much for listening to this first video. It's only up from here, y'all. I feel a bit more comfortable talking into this microphone now that I've been doing it for a while. So yeah, I'm hoping to live stream. Go ahead and support my Patreon if you would like to see more in-depth explanations of my workflow and my work experience. I'll also put up a old video of me explaining my process with this art challenge I did where I drew something like 100 heads. I think it's pretty neat. Check it out. I'm also going to be launching some not safe for work soon. I'm going to queue these videos up. It's going to be a fun time. I'll see you in the future. Peace and love. Keep drawing and stay creative.